Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to think about your home, not just the building, not just the walls, not just the roof over your head, but the place where you live, the place where you sleep, the place where you eat, the place where you laugh, the place where you cry, the place where you raise your children, the place where you pray, the place where you dream, the place where you rest, the place where you are supposed to feel safe, the place where you are supposed to feel peace, the place where you are supposed to feel protected, the place where you are supposed to feel at home. Now think about this. Have you ever walked into your house and smelled something that did not belong, something that made no sense? Something that had no explanation, something that had no explanation, something that made the hair on the back of your neck stand up, something that made your stomach turn, something that made your heart race, something that made you stop in your tracks and say, what is that? Where is that coming from? Why does it smell like that? And you check it everywhere. You check the kitchen, you check the trash, you check the bathroom, you check the basement, you check the attic, you checked every room, you checked every corner, you checked every vent, you checked every pipe, you checked every appliance. And you found nothing that could explain it, nothing that made sense, nothing that could justify that smell. And yet it was there. It was real, it was present, it was unmistakable, and it lingered. It lingered for a moment. It lingered for an hour, it lingered for a day, it lingered for a week. It came and went without reason, without warning, without explanation. And you tried to forget it, you tried to dismiss it, you tried to rationalize it, you tried to ignore it, but something deep inside you knew, something deep inside you felt it, something deep inside you sensed it, something deep inside you whispered, this is not normal, this is not natural, this is not natural, this is not right. And maybe you were afraid to say it out loud, maybe you were afraid to tell anyone, maybe you were afraid they would think you were crazy, maybe you were afraid they would laugh at you, maybe you were afraid they would tell you that you are being superstitious. Maybe you were afraid they would tell you that you are being paranoid. Maybe you were afraid they would tell you that you are being dramatic. Maybe you were afraid they would tell you that you are being foolish. Maybe you were afraid they would tell you that you are being unspiritual. Maybe you were afraid they would tell you that you are being immature. Epaphroditus. Maybe you were afraid they would tell you that you are being ignorant. Maybe you were afraid they would tell you that you are being deceived, so you kept it to yourself. You kept it inside, you kept it buried, you kept it hidden, you kept it secret, and you tried to convince yourself that it was nothing. You tried to convince yourself that you imagined it. You tried to convince yourself that you were overthinking it. You tried to convince yourself that it was just your mind playing tricks on you. You tried to convince yourself that it was just your nose playing tricks on you. You tried to convince yourself that it was just your memory playing tricks on you. But deep down, you knew. Deep down, you felt it. Deep down, you could not shake it. Deep down, you could not explain it. Deep down, you could not deny it. And that is why you are here today. That is why you are listening to me right now. Because somewhere, somehow, you have experienced something that you could not explain, something that you could not rationalize, something that you could not ignore, something that you could not forget, something that you could not shake, something you wonder, something that made you question your surpasinator to sour frustration, something that made you wonder, something that made you question, something that made you search, something that made you seek. And I am here to tell you today that you are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not paranoid. You are not dramatic. You are not foolish. You are not unspiritual. You are not immature. You are not ignorant, you are not deceived, you are awake, you are perceiver. You are not ignorant, you are not deceived, you are awake, you are aware, you are sensitive, you are perceptive, you are discerning. And that is a gift. That is a gift from God. That is a gift that the enemy wants to steal from you. That is a gift that the enemy wants to silence in you. That is a gift that the enemy wants to destroy in you. Because if you are discerning, you are dangerous to him. If you are aware, you are a threat to him. If you are sensitive to the spiritual realm, you are a liability to him. And he will do everything in his power to make you doubt yourself, to make you doubt your senses, to make you doubt your intuition, to make you doubt your discernment, to make you doubt your gift, to make you doubt your God. Because if he can make you doubt, he can keep you in the dark. If he can keep you in the dark, he can keep you in bondage. If he can keep you in bondage, he can keep you from your destiny. And he will use every tool in his arsenal to do it. And one of his most powerful tools is the sense of smell. Yes, smell. I know that sounds strange. I know that sounds unusual. I know that sounds like something out of a horror movie, but it is real. It is biblical. It is spiritual. And it is happening in homes all over the world, in homes like yours, in homes like mine, in homes that belong to good people, in homes that belong to believers, in homes that belong to people who love God, in homes that belong to people who pray, in homes that belong to people who worship, in homes that belong to people who serve, in homes that belong to people who are faithful, in homes that belong to people who are holy, in homes that belong to people who are righteous, and is furfurfuless, in homes that belong to people who are righteous. And it is not random, it is not accidental, it is not coincidental, it is not meaningless, it is a sign, it is a signal, it is a warning, it is a message, and it is time for us to pay attention. It is time for us to wake up, it is time for us to understand what we are dealing with. It is time for us to recognize the enemy's tactics. It is time for us to stop dismissing what we cannot explain. It is time for us to stop ignoring what we cannot rationalize. It is time for us to stop pretending that everything is fine when it is not. Because if there is a demonic presence in your house, you need to know. You need to know so you can do something about it. So for all, you need to know so you can take authority over it. You need to know so you can cast it out. You need to know so you can protect your family. You need to know so you can protect your home. You need to know so you can protect your peace. You need to know so you can protect your destiny. And the first step to knowing is recognizing the signs. And one of the clearest signs is unexplained smells. So I am going to share with you today 5 unexplained smells in your house that may signal a demonic presence. I am going to share with you what to look for. I am going to share with you what to pay attention to. I am going to share with you what to take seriously. I am going to share with you what to do about it, and I am going to do it with love. I am going to do it with compassion. I am going to do it with urgency. I am going to do it with truth because I care about you, because I care about your family, because I care about your home, because I care about your peace, because I care about your peace, because I care about your destiny. And I do not want to see you destroyed by something that you could have recognized. I do not want to see you defeated by something that you could have confronted. I do not want to see you deceived by something that you could have exposed. I do not want to see you enslaved by something that you could have broken. And so I am going to speak plainly. I am going to speak clearly. I am going to speak boldly. I am going to speak truthfully. And I ask you to listen with an open heart. I ask you to listen with an open mind. I ask you to listen with open ears. I ask you to listen with open eyes. I ask you to listen with open spirit, because what I am about to share with you could change your life. What I am about to share with you could save your home. What I am about to share with you could set you free. So let us begin. Let us talk about the first smell, the first unexplained smell that may signal a demonic presence in your house. And that smell is the smell of death, the smell of decay, the smell of rotting flesh, the smell of something that has died and is decomposing. Now, I am not talking about the smell of a dead mouse in the wall. I am not talking about the smell of food that has gone bad in the back of your refrigerator. I am not talking about the smell of a drain that needs to be cleaned. I am talking about the smell of death that comes from nowhere, the smell of death that has no source, the smell of death that has no explanation, the smell of death that appears suddenly and disappears just as suddenly. The smell of death that lingers in a room for no reason. The smell of death that follows you from one room to another. The smell of death that seems to cling to certain places. The smell of death that makes you feel uneasy. The smell of death that makes you feel cold. The smell of death that makes you feel afraid. And you have checked everywhere. You have checked every corner. You have checked every crevice. You have checked every cabinet. You have checked every closet. You have checked every crawl space. You have checked every attic. You have checked every basement, and you have found nothing, nothing dead, nothing rotting, nothing decaying, nothing that could possibly explain that smell. And yet it is there, it is real, it is present, and you cannot shake it. And here is what I need you to understand. In the Bible, death is associated with the enemy. The enemy is called the destroyer. He is called the one who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And where he is present, death follows, not physical death necessarily, but spiritual death, emotional death, relational death, the death of hope, the death of joy, the death of peace, the death of love, the death of purpose, the death of destiny, the death of dreams, the death of faith, And that smell of death in your house is a physical manifestation of a spiritual reality. It is the enemy announcing his presence. It is the enemy marking his territory. It is the enemy declaring his intent. It is the enemy saying, I am here and I am here to destroy. And if you ignore it, if you dismiss it, if you rationalize it, if you pretend it is nothing, you are giving him permission to stay. You are giving him permission to operate. You are giving him permission to expand. You are giving him permission to increase his influence. You are giving him permission to bring more death into your home, more death into your marriage, more death into your children, more death into your health, more death into your finances, more death into your peace, more death into your joy, more death into your faith. And that is why you need to recognize it. That is why you need to take it seriously. That is why you need to confront it. Because that smell of death is not just a smell. It is a warning. It is a signal. It is a sign. And it is time to respond. Now let us move to the second smell. The second unexplained smell that may signal a demonic presence in your house. And that smell is the smell of sulfur, the smell of rotten eggshells, the smell of matches that have just been struck, the smell of a gas leak, the smell of something burning that is not burning. Now, I am not talking about the smell of eggs that have gone bad. I am not talking about the smell of a stove that needs to be cleaned. I am not talking about the smell of a pilot light that needs to be adjusted. I am talking about the smell of sulfur that comes from nowhere, the smell of sulfur that has no source, the smell of sulfur that has no explanation, the smell of sulfur that appears suddenly and disappears just as suddenly, the smell of sulfur that seems to come from the walls, the smell of sulfur that seems to come from the floor, the smell of sulfur that seems to come from the ceiling, the smell of sulfur that makes you feel sick, the smell of sulfur that makes you feel dizzy, the smell of sulfur that makes you feel nauseous, the smell of sulfur that makes you feel like you are being suffocated. And you have checked everywhere. You have checked the gas lines, you have checked the appliances, you have checked the vents, you have checked the pipes, you have checked the drains, and you have found nothing. Nothing that could possibly explain that smell. And yet it is there, it is real, it is present. And you cannot ignore it. And here is what I need you to understand. In the Bible, sulfur is associated with judgment. It is associated with hell. It is associated with the lake of fire. It is associated with the place where the enemy will ultimately be cast. And where sulfur is present, it is a sign that the enemy is trying to bring that same judgment into your life. Not God's judgment, but the enemy's counterfeit. He is trying to make you feel condemned. He is trying to make you feel guilty. He is trying to make you feel ashamed. He is trying to make you feel like you are under a curse. He is trying to make you feel like you are being punished. He is trying to make you feel like you are being rejected. He is trying to make you feel like you are being abandoned. He is trying to make you feel like God has turned his back on you. He is trying to make you feel like there is no hope. He is trying to make you feel like there is no way out. He is trying to make you feel like you are trapped. He is trying to make you feel like you are doomed. And that is exactly what that smell of sulfur is trying to do. It is trying to bring a spirit of condemnation into your home. It is trying to bring a spirit of fear into your home. It is trying to bring a spirit of despair into your home. It is trying to bring a spirit of hopelessness into your home. It is trying to bring a spirit of death into your home. And if you ignore it, if you dismiss it, if you rationalize it, if you pretend it is nothing, you are giving him permission to keep operating. You are giving him permission to keep bringing that condemnation. You are giving him permission to keep bringing that fear. You are giving him permission to keep bringing that despair. You are giving him permission to keep bringing that hopelessness. You are giving him permission to keep bringing that death. And that is why you need to recognize it. That is why you need to take it seriously. That is why you need to confront it. Because that smell of sulfur is not just a smell. It is a warning. It is a signal. It is a signal. It is a sign. And it is time to respond. Now let us move to the third smell. The third unexplained smell that may signal a demonic presence in your house. And that smell is the smell of smoke, the smell of burning, the smell of fire, the smell of something that is on fire but is not. Now, I am not talking about the smell of a candle that has just been blown out. I am not talking about the smell of a fireplace that has just been lit. I am not talking about the smell of a grill that is being used outside. I'm talking about the smell of smoke that comes from nowhere, the smell of smoke that has no source, the smell of smoke that has no explanation, the smell of smoke that appears suddenly and disappears just as suddenly, the smell of smoke that makes you cough, the smell of smoke that makes your eyes sting, the smell of smoke that makes you feel like there's a fire somewhere, the smell of smoke that makes you want to call the fire department. And you have checked everywhere. You have checked every room, you have checked every outlet, you have checked every wire, you have checked every appliance, you have checked every vent, you have checked every chimney, and you have found nothing. Nothing that could possibly explain that smell. And yet it is there, it is real, it is present, and you cannot ignore it. And here is what I need you to understand. In the Bible, fire is often associated with the presence of God. But it is also associated with the presence of the enemy. The enemy is described as a roaring lion. He is described as a serpent. He is described as a dragon. He is described as an angel of light. And he is also described as one who brings fire. Not the fire of God, not the fire of the Holy Spirit, but the fire of destruction, the fire of chaos, the fire of confusion, the fire of division, the fire of anger, the fire of rage, the fire of bitterness, the fire of unforgiveness, the fire of lust, the fire of greed, the fire of pride, the fire of jealousy, the fire of envy, the fire of strife, the fire of conflict, the fire of war. And that smell of smoke in your house is a physical manifestation of that spiritual fire. It is the enemy trying to burn down your peace. It is the enemy trying to burn down your joy. It is the enemy trying to burn down your love. It is the enemy trying to burn down your unity. It is the enemy trying to burn down your family. It is the enemy trying to burn down your marriage. It is the enemy trying to burn down your children. It is the enemy trying to burn down your faith. It is the enemy trying to burn down your destiny. And if you ignore it, if you dismiss it, if you rationalize it, if you pretend it is nothing, you are giving him permission to keep burning. You are giving him permission to keep destroying. You are giving him permission to keep consuming. You are giving him permission to keep devouring. You are giving him permission to keep stealing, killing, and destroying. And that is why you need to recognize it. That is why you need to take it seriously. That is why you need to confront it, because that smell of smoke is not just a smell. It is a warning, it is a signal, it is a sign, and it is time to respond. Now let us move to the fourth smell, the fourth unexplained smell that may signal a demonic presence in your house. And this one is perhaps the most disturbing. This one is perhaps the most unsettling. This one is perhaps the most alarming, and that smell is the smell of human waste, the smell of feces, the smell of urine, the smell of something filthy, the smell of something unclean, the smell of something that makes you want to gag, the smell of something that makes you want to leave the room, the smell of something that makes you want to cover your nose, the smell of something that makes you feel dirty just by being near it. Now, I am not talking about the smell of a diaper that needs to be changed. I am not talking about the smell of a toilet that needs to be cleaned. I am not talking about the smell of a sewer that needs to be unclogged. I am talking about the smell of waste that comes from nowhere. The smell of waste that has no source. The smell of waste that has no explanation. The smell of waste that appears suddenly and disappears just as suddenly. The smell of waste that seems to come from the air itself. The smell of waste that seems to cling to certain objects. The smell of waste that seems to follow certain people. The smell of waste that makes you feel like you are standing in a sewer, and you have checked everywhere. You have checked every bathroom, you have checked every pipe, you have checked every drain. You have checked every septic tank, you have checked every garbage can, and you have found nothing. Nothing that could possibly explain that smell. And yet it is there, it is real, it is present, and you cannot escape it. And here is what I need you to understand. In the Bible, filth and uncleanness are associated with the enemy. The enemy is called the unclean spirit. He is called the prince of the power of the air. He is called the ruler of the darkness of this age. He is called the god of this world. And where he is present, filth follows, not physical filth necessarily, but spiritual filth, emotional filth, relational filth, the filth of shame, the filth of guilt, the filth of condemnation, the filth of perversion, the filth of addiction, the filth of lust, the filth of greed, the filth of pride, the filth of jealousy, the filth of envy, the filth of bitterness, the filth of unforgiveness, the filth of hatred, the filth of violence, the filth of abuse, the filth of manipulation, the filth of control, the filth of deception, the filth of lies, the filth of everything that is contrary to the nature of God. And that smell of waste in your house is a physical manifestation of that spiritual filth. It is the enemy trying to make you feel unclean. It is the enemy trying to make you feel unworthy. It is the enemy trying to make you feel unlovable. It is the enemy trying to make you feel rejected. It is the enemy trying to make you feel abandoned. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not good enough. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not clean enough. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not holy enough. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not righteous enough. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not worthy of God's love. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not worthy of God's grace. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not worthy of God's forgiveness. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not worthy of God's presence. It is the enemy trying to make you feel like you are not worthy of God's favor. And if you ignore it, if you dismiss it, if you rationalize it, if you pretend it is nothing, you are giving him permission to keep making you feel that way. You are giving him permission to keep filling your home with that spiritual filth. You are giving him permission to keep filling your mind with that spiritual filth. You are giving him permission to keep filling your heart with that spiritual filth. You are giving him permission to keep filling your soul with that spiritual filth. And that is why you need to recognize it. That is why you need to take it seriously. That is why you need to confront it, because that smell of waste is not just a smell. It is a warning, it is a signal, it is a sign, and it is time to respond. Gembezians. Now, let us move to the fifth and final smell. The fifth unexplained smell that may signal a demonic presence in your house. And this one is perhaps the most deceptive. This one is perhaps the most seductive. This one is perhaps the most dangerous, because it does not smell bad. It does not smell foul. Insta-fires. It does not smell offensive. It does not smell like death. It does not smell like sulfur. It does not smell like smoke. It does not smell like waste. It smells sweet. It smells pleasant. It smells inviting. It smells like perfume. It smells like flowers. It smells like incense. It smells like something that makes you want to stay. It smells like something that makes you want to breathe it in. It smells like something that makes you want to relax. It smells like something that makes you want to let your guard down. It smells like something that makes you feel safe. It smells like something that makes you feel peaceful. It smells like something that makes you feel happy. It smells like something that makes you feel loved. It smells like something that makes you feel accepted. It smells like something that makes you feel welcomed. It smells like something that makes you feel at home. But here is the problem. It comes from nowhere. It has no source. It has no explanation. It appears suddenly and disappears just as suddenly. It seems to come from the air itself. It seems to cling to certain objects. It seems to follow certain people. It seems to follow certain people. And you have checked everywhere. You have checked every candle. You have checked every air freshener. You have checked every perfume bottle. You have checked every flower. You have checked every plant. You have checked every incense stick. And you have found nothing. Nothing that could possibly explain that smell. And yet it is there. It is real. It is present. And it is intoxicating. And here is what I need you to understand. The enemy does not always come as a roaring lion. He does not always come as a dragon. He does not always come as a serpent. Sometimes he comes as an angel of light. Sometimes he comes as something beautiful. Sometimes he comes as something attractive. Sometimes he comes as something desirable. Sometimes he comes as something that seems good. Sometimes he comes as something that seems holy. Sometimes he comes as something that seems spiritual. Sometimes he comes as something that seems divine. And he uses that beauty, that attractiveness, that desirability, that goodness, that holiness, that spirituality, that divinity to deceive you, to lure you, and to statsapsen to mismarsen, to lure you, to trap you, to capture you, to enslave you, to destroy you. And that sweet smell in your house is a physical manifestation of that spiritual deception. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is not a threat. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your friend. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your ally. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your helper. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your protector. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your provider. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your comforter. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your counselor. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your guide. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your savior. It is the enemy trying to make you think that he is your God. And if you are not discerning, you will fall for it. You will fall for the deception. You will fall for the lie. You will fall for the trap. You will fall for the snare. You will fall for the bait. You will fall into his hands, and he will destroy you, not with fear, not with terror, not with violence, but with sweetness, with a fur, risipur, sursense, and cetaceans, not with terror, not with violence, but with sweetness, with pleasure, with comfort, with ease, with convenience, with satisfaction, with fulfillment, with everything that seems good but is actually evil, everything that seems right but is actually wrong, everything that seems true but is actually a lie. And that is why you need to be careful. That is why you need to be vigilant. That is why you need to be alert. That is why you need to be discerning, because the enemy is not always obvious. He is not always ugly. He is not always terrifying. Sometimes he is beautiful. Sometimes he is attractive. Sometimes he is desirable. Sometimes he is sweet. And that sweet smell in your house is a warning. It is a signal. It is a sign, and it is time to respond. So here is the question. Here is the question that I want you to ask yourself. Have you experienced any of these smells in your house? Have you smelled death? Have you smelled sulfur? Have you smelled smoke? Have you smelled waste? Have you smelled sweetness that you could not explain? And if you have, what did you do about it? Did you ignore it? Did you dismiss it? Did you rationalize it? Did you pretend it was nothing? Did you try to forget it? Did you try to push it out of your mind? Did you try to push it out of your mind? Did you try to convince yourself that you were imagining it? Did you try to convince yourself that it was just your nose playing tricks on you? Or did you take it seriously? Did you take it to the Lord? Did you take it to prayer? Did you take it to intercession? Did you take it to the Word of God? Did you take authority over it? Did you command it to leave? Did you rebuke it in the name of Jesus? Did you plead the blood of Jesus over your house? Did you anoint your doorposts? Did you anoint your windows? Did you anoint your walls? Did you anoint your rooms? Did you consecrate your home? Did you dedicate your home to the Lord? Did you make your home a place where the enemy cannot dwell? Did you make your home a place where the enemy cannot operate? Did you make your home a place where the enemy cannot influence? Did you make your home a place where the enemy cannot exist? Because if you have not, it is time. It is time to take action. It is time to take authority. It is time to take back what the enemy has stolen. It is time to take back your home. It is time to take back your peace. It is time to take back your joy. It is time to take back your family. It is time to take back your destiny. It is time to take back your life.